Hello guys, welcome to Java JSM, and in this video we are going to talk about functional interface. And functional interfaces is very important also. It's one of the Java 8 features. Okay, so let's understand what is the function interface. So function interface means the interface having only one abstract method. Apart from this, we don't have any other abstract method, that is called a function interface. Also, you can add one more point, like the function which is annotated with the @function interface, that is also called a function interface. Okay, let me start, and I will try to explain you so that you can understand in the better way. So if you see the first point, function interface are the feature introduced in the Java 8 that allow developers to use Lambda expressions and method reference to write a more concise and expressive code. A functional interface is an interface that defines exactly one abstract method. You can focus here. Exactly one abstract method. Let me open my ledger. Exactly one abstract method you can see here. Okay, that is called a functional method. Function interface can be annotated with the function interface. Okay, annotation to ensure that the interface contains only one abstract methods. You can see the example here, like this is the function interface, because this my function is a one of the interface, and inside this interface having a only one abstract method which is apply. And you know already, like we have not given any key as a abstract here, but still in the interface automatically compiler will put public abstract. Got it? Okay, so this is the things you have to know. What is the function? How we can provide the implementations of this function interface with the help of Lambda expressions, also method reference, that is also possible. So you have to provide the implementations of the function interface with the help of the Lambda expression or method reference. Okay, so let's start and understand how we are providing it. But before going to do anything, let's understand what are the predefined method or classes are available in Java, which is function interface. So you can see here, a Java function interface is an interface that contains exactly one abstract method is known as a function interface. This is the one point. So I have given lots of the point, but you have to remember any one or two, that is good enough. It can have any numbers of the default static methods, but can contains only one abstract method. So inside the function interface, you can put multiple default and static method, that is possible, but you can't give any abstract like more than one abstract method. It will take only one abstract method, that is called function interface. We can consider it. It can also declare the method of the object class, that is also possible. It can also declare the method of the object class. Sometimes what will happen is interviewer will ask you, hey, can we define like object class methods inside this also, or we can give the body or not, like that also they will ask the questions. So I will give the clear-cut knowledge here. Let me go to the STS and then we can do the operation. Before going to the STS, you have to understand this is the runnable interface, comparator interface, comparable interface, and you can create your own function interface also. These are the predefined functional interface. Okay, let me open the STS and then I will show you where is the functional interface. So Control-Shift-T. Okay, and here I will search runnable. So runnable is one of the classes which we are using the thread, but runnable is nothing but it's a functional interface. Okay, it's make as a function interface, you can see now. So that is nothing but Java 8 features only, you can say. Okay, it's available in 1.0 onwards, but this is a functional interface. We have annotated this class as a function interface. That means this runnable is nothing but it's a functional interface. If you go down and you can see the body of this class, okay, if you go down and if you see the body of this class is having only one abstract method, which is run method. And what is the method type? Abstract void. Got it? Yeah, got it. So this is the things you have to understood, guys, basically. Okay, so this is the one of the abstract class and abstract methods having inside the function interface, and we have seen these are the predefined function interface. If you open comparator or comparable, let me open it. So how can I open? Control Shift T, you have to remember it. Control Shift T you have to press, and then after you can search in the STS or Eclipse both comparator. So comparable or comparator, you can open any one. Let me open comparable. So if you see here, comparable having only one abstract methods. Okay, public int compared to. Okay, so inside this having only one abstract method, that is called a functional interface. We can consider it. Okay, let me open the comparator. Control Shift T, comparator. So if you open the comparator, you can see comparator is marked as a functional interface annotation, so that this particular interface, which is functional interface, it will not contain more than one abstract method. You can see here, this is called a functional interface because having only one abstract method. And here you can see we have C1 points, like you can override the object class. You can declare the object class method also inside the functional interface. That is possible. So equal is a object class method. Here you can see comparator, but comparator reverse method. But reverse is what? Default. So I told you, like in the functional interface, default method multiple possible, no issue. You can give the default or a static method also. If you go down, this is also default method. This is also default. default, a static method. So you can define multiple numbers of the static methods or default methods. You can see here, it can also declare the method of the object class, and here you can see it can have any numbers of the default and a static method, but can have contains only one abstract method. Understood, guys? Yeah. And we have seen also what is the runnable interface, what is the comparator interface, comparable. We have already discussed into the collections while sorting an object. Runnable interface I have discussed in the multi-thread, and we have implemented it also in the previous class. Also I have implemented runnable interface with the help of the Lambda expression. And now I am going to create our own functional interface. Okay, so let me go to the Eclipse. Okay, and here you can see this is my Eclipse. Let me close all those classes. Let me create one more class with package. Okay, so here I will give functional interface fi I will give, and here I will give my functional interface. So this is my own functional interface. So if you see here, the one thing is, whenever you create the interface, you have to make an interface. It should not be a class. And if you want to make it a functional interface, it should be annotated with the functional interface in Java 8 onwards. Okay, this is the annotations. It will came, I think, Java 1.8 only. If you open it, you can see this particular annotation, which is functional interface annotations, will came since 1.8 version. Understood? So if you mark any function interface as a function interface, then it will behave like that. The behavior of this interface will be changed, and it's saying clearly, if you make it as a function interface, it's clearly saying invalid function interface annotation. My function interface is not a function interface. Why? Because you have to give one abstract method. So I will give one void and data, something like that. Okay, now it will consider as a functional interface because we have given one abstract data type. One more things I have to clear. By default, if you not give anything, you just given void data, so automatically compiler will put here public abstract, because in the interface all the data, all the whatever the method you created, which is by default public abstract, so you don't want to give as a public abstract. Okay, whatever the interface we have created. Okay, so that is the thing. So if you have only one abstract method, that is good enough, and this is the functional interface exactly. So whenever interviewer told you, hey, can you create one functional interface, simply you can go to our ID and you can create one interface, and you can annotate those interface with the function interface, and we can create one abstract method that is called a function interface. You can remove this also, no issue. Okay, this should be automatically put by the compiler. So that is called a function interface. Okay, in function interface, if I give multiple abstract method, that is possible. Let me try Control Shift arrow down, and let me give something called MSG. Okay, but if I given the two abstract method, what is the problem? It's saying like invalid function interface. But if you give only functional interface, that will fine. But right now this interface is not a function interface. But right now this interface is not a functional interface. Got it? Right now this interface is not a function interface. Why? Because in this particular interface having a multiple abstract method, so we can't consider this interface as a function interface. Got it? So that is the things you have to understood. Now you have to remove this, then only it will become function interface. That is the one thing. Okay, one more things. If I override object class methods, for example, if I open object class, so object class having so many methods, like object methods, like native methods, if you go hash code methods. Let me take this one only. Okay, and I will copy this method and I will put inside my class. Illegal modifiers, public. Let me remove illegal modifier, public. Okay, let me take equals method, Control O, equals. So this is the equals methods. And I will just try to put here what is the compiler is throwing the error or not. It's not throwing the error. If you see, it's not throwing the error. Why? Because object is a object class of all those classes or interfaces. So object is a parent of all the interface and classes. Okay, by default. So what will happen is we are able to give this method here, and this method is abstract also, you can consider. Okay, public abstract. If you give abstract also, that is fine, because this is method from the public class. And if you give any other method, it will not accept and it will throw the error. Got it? So I can write here object class method will allow in functional interface. Functional interface. Okay, this should be allowed. That is fine. Okay, any number of the default and the static method also you can give. Okay, for example, default. So default int m1. Okay, default int m1, add a return time. Okay, I don't want to give int, then default void m1. So any numbers of the default methods you can write inside the function interface. That is possible. Interviewer will ask you that, like that questions, and they will try to make you mistake. Okay, but you have to be careful and you have to understand each and everything, like what is the exactly function interface. Okay, what we can give inside this function interface, what we can't give inside the function interface. Okay, so we can give the default method also, we can give the default method also, multiple default methods. We can give the static method also. Let me give public statics void data, or we can say something else like add any methods, and any numbers of the you can give. Any numbers of the static method you can give inside the function interface. That is not the issue, but methods should be different, not the same. Okay guys, understood? In the function interface, what we can give, what we can't give, what is possible to give, what which is not possible to give. So I hope you understood, and how we can create our own function interface we understood. Okay, let me go and do something next. So if you see here, this is the example of the function interface. The interface is bonus calculator. I have cal bonus, I have created, and this is the default method, this is the static method. Okay, so this is the method you can implement easily. And whatever the method you are able to see here, okay, which is predicate, consumer, function, supplier, those are also method. Apart from this, lots of the method will come inside the Java 1.8. okay, so these are the some basic of the example I have given, and those are very popular, very useful, like predicate, consumer, function, supplier, and we are using so many multiple times in the Lambda expressions or function interface. So in the function interface only, predicate, consumer, function, supplier, the method will came, this classes interface will came inside the 1.8, and we are using, and this interface having a lots of the method which is default or abstract method also we can implement it and we can use it. Okay, so that is the power of must of function interface. So here if you see here, we have written like must use functional interface. So let's take example of the predicate. What is the predicate? Test conditions. Okay, so if you want to test the condition, you can take the help of the predicate. Take consumer something, so you have to take the help of the consumer. Take something, return something, you can take the help of the function. Supply and return something, you can take the help of the supplier. So like that, so many function interface will come inside the Java 1.8. If you see the documentations, okay, if you see the documentation, can I show you documentations one more times? Okay, let me open the predicate. So if you go here, let me move this here. Okay, fine. So let me close these classes, otherwise what we can do is, yes, let me close. So these classes will close, and let me open the predicate. Control Shift T always I have to do, I am doing mistake always. Predicate. So if you see in the Java 1.8, he given a lots of the function interface, almost I think 20 or 25 interface they are given, and which is available in the package called java.util.function. So if you go inside this function, you can see all the classes which is available inside this package. So let's take the example of the predicate. So predicate is nothing but it's a functional interface. Okay, evaluate the predicate on the given argument, and this having a one method called test. Okay, and this function interface having a default method also, having a some default method also, having a some static method also, having a some static method also. So like that, so many methods they given to do our operations very easily. Okay, so that is the power of the function interface. One by one you understood like what exactly we are doing with the function interface, but anyway, let me try and implement our function interface. Okay, like how we can use this predicate, function, supplier, consumer. Okay, so predefined whatever the function interface we have, we are going to provide a implementation for that. Okay, so let me start with that. Okay, so if you see in Java 1.8, they are coming with the some of the function interface like predicate, consumer, function, supplier. So how we can use it and how we can do the operations on that, each and everything we can discuss in this video. So if you see this is the function interface which is nothing but predicate. Okay, so predicate is nothing but it's a one of the function interface you can see. Okay, here in the first one, predicate is what? It's a function interface. It's came in the Java 1.8. Okay, right. Now I am going to create my own classes and I will try to implement the function interface. Okay, so let me create one class. Okay, so how we can basically do it? So what we can do is we can create one class called my predicate impl. Okay, and in this class, okay, we can implement it basically. Okay, so that is also fine. And impl test, let me write it test. Okay, and here I will give my predicate only, and inside this class I will provide a implementations of the predicate function interface. Okay, so predicate is nothing but it's a interface. Okay, if you see here, it's a interface, but I have created one class which is my implemented class, and I will extend, no, I have to implement it. Okay, implement predicate. Okay, predicate, it will take some of the type of the value, so I will give the string. Okay, and I will open the curly braces and close it. Inside this predicate having one abstract method, you can see here, so we have to provide the implementations of this method. So once you go to here, you can see here add unimplemented method, so you can click on that, so it will implement it here, right? Understood? Let me write some of the code here, and let me provide the implementation of those abstract function interface which is available in the predicate functions. Okay, and here this is the t, string t I have written. Let me write here whatever the t we have sent. Okay, and apart from Java is a sum. Okay, I will give here colon also, that is also good, and finally I will return the false or true. That is something we can do it. Otherwise we can test something like whatever the value they are passed, it is equal to Java JSON or not. If it is equal, then we can return true or false, anything. But as of now, just I have done something, and I will provide the implementations for that, so that you can understood the use of the implementations basically. Okay, so this is the implementations we have provided in the like traditional way. We can say traditional means before Java 1.8 onwards, we are providing implementations of the function interface like that only. Okay, and what you have to do is you have to create the object for that. Okay, how we can create object? We have to create the object of the class which is my predicate. Okay, oh my god. So first I have to create the main methods, and after main methods I will create an object of the my predicate. Okay, interface, not my predicate interface, my predicate IMPL. Okay, and my predicate equal to new my predicate IMPL. I have created object, and now through the my predicate I will call the test method. Okay, and here I will pass something, hello dear, something. Okay, so this is the things, and this is the way we can write a code and we can call this particular method. So this is the before Java 1.8 we are doing the implementations of this particular predicate function implementations. Let me run it so that you can see the output and you can understand. Let me open it. You can see hello dear, Java is awesome. So what will happen? We have created one class. Through that created class we have implemented this predicate, and after that we have written this method. Okay, like that we have implemented it. Okay, so this is the Java 1.8 before we are doing like that. But now we have to talk about how we can implement this particular predicate function interface method test with the help of the Lambda expressions, right? Yes, right. So in that case I don't want to write this class. In that case I don't want to write this class basically. Okay, before going to the remove this class, let me remove first these things, and let me write a Lambda expressions for this predicate function. So what I can do is here I will create an object of predicate. It will take some string value maybe, and here I will write pre. Okay, and this test method is taking one parameters which is a string, so I will give here parenthesis, and which is nothing but a string. So it's my choice, I can give a string s also, otherwise I can give directly s. This is the parameters. Okay, and now I will give the Lambda expressions, and then curly braces open and close, and I will give here one semicolons. Okay, so this is the basically the Lambda expressions you can see, and we have to write a return statement also. Okay, so before writing a return statement, let me copy this line of the code, only it's required, and I will paste here. That's it. Here we have a t, but here we have a s parenthesis, so we have to replace this s. Okay, like that we can provide the implementation of the predict method which is test. We don't want to provide the method name anything, so we have to just pass the parameter and write a body. Okay, if I want to call this method, simply I will write pre dot test. Here I will send something like my name is I don't know my name is, but I have just written, and like that you can call the method. This is the power of Java 1.8. okay, and we have provided the implementations. Now we just have to write this line of the code. We don't want to write that much line of the code in the Java 1.8. so let me remove this code because it's an unwanted code. I don't want those code. Easily we can provide the implementations of this particular test method, which is available in the predicate, because predicate is functional interface. So we can provide the implementation of this predicate classes method with the help of lambda expression. So this is nothing but lambda expressions, guys. I hope you understood. Okay, so this is the predicate, this is the implementations of the predicate. In the same thing, if I want to implement some other interface, maybe maybe consumer, I have to implement the consumer. Let's go to the STS and I have to implement the consumer. So what I will do, first I will check what is the consumer class. CONSUM here, consumer function interface. Consumer is a function interface. In the interface having a one void accept method, and after that having a some default method. I will go to the my class and simply I will provide the implementations of this. How? I will write consumer function interface. Here it will take any type of the value, so I will give a string or integer value, anything also, only type, and con consumers equal to we have already seen what is the methods. So method is nothing but we have a one method called accept, and it's taking only one parameters. There is no return type, so only one parameter. So for that we have to write something called msg, some message they are taking, and then after we have to provide the lambda expressions and open close. They don't want also return type, because here we can see it's expecting the return type, which is test method, but here we don't want to provide a return type also, and whatever the message we have sent, it will display here. So I will write msg plus good job. And this is the implementation of consumer interface. You can see I have done within how many lines? 3 lines, but I can remove this one also. If you know the rule of the lambda expressions, you can easily remove this line of the code. And you can make this implementation within one line. This is the power of lambda expression and functional interface. So whenever you see the function interface, we can implement those interface within one line of the code. And you can call it's a easily methods like con.accept. And here you can pass Java is a sum. You can call this method, which is accept method, and this is the implementations for that. So it will call this method and it will work. So I hope you understood. Let me show you the output. So you can see this is the first output, which is implementations of the predicate, and this is the second output, which is implementations of the consumer. I hope guys you understood how to implement the consumer. But same thing, if you do, it will take lots of line of the code, and you have to create one extra classes. Then we have to implement the consumer, we have to provide the body of the abstract method, then only you can create an object and then you can call it. So that is the something long process we have to do, but in Java way 1.8 you can do in the single line of the code with the help of the lambda expressions, guys. Let me create one more class, otherwise I can implement here only all those function interface. So let me go and check the function. So now we have a one more class is called function. Let me open the function. So function is one of the function interface. You can see here in this function interface we have to pass R is apply return type and T is a one parameter. So it will take one parameter and one is return type. So what I will do is I want to provide the implementation of the function interface. So my function, so simply I will create one object. I will create one class. So control N, And otherwise, let me do here only in the predicate only. Here I will provide the implementations of the function. So you can write function, okay, and it will take two parameters. One is a string we have to pass, and second one is nothing but return type. So return type I will take int, okay. So it will not it will not consider as a primitive data type. It will always work with the object data type. And here I will write fun equal to, I have to provide the body of those method. So what is the method? If you go to the functions, you can see, okay, apply method is taking only one parameters. So what we can do is we can go to this class and we can give one parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis it will take some string type of the data. So I will give yes, and after that lambda expression is required. Open, close the lambda expression. Okay, it's having a return type also. So once we have to print this data, okay, and what are the data we have passed, and then after we can return what are the string s dot length. Okay, so this is nothing but this is the implementation of function interface, which is function, and function is a function interface. It's taking two parameter. One is what we can say, one is a argument and one is a return type. Okay, and based on that we have returned the value also, and we have take the parameter also, and this is the implementation. This is how much you can see the simple. Okay, let me call this method. So I can call like function dot and apply. Okay, and here I will pass java is some, okay, java is some, but I will call this method because this method will return something. So because of that I will put those method inside this one println. So what will happen, first it will call this method, it will go here, it will call, because of this is the function interface. So function interface reference dot apply method having inside the function, it will call, it will pass this parameter will go and store here inside the s. Then after we are printing this value which is java is sum, and then after we are finding the length of this java is sum and we are returning it. So once it is returned, the whatever the length of this value, it will replace here and again it will print it. So this is the implementations of the function or functional interface. Got it guys? Okay, I hope you understood. Let me run so that you can see the code output. So if you see here java is sum we have passed, and also the length of this is nothing but 15. So this is the functional interface implementations which is provided in the java 1.8. Let me talk about the supplier. So supplier is nothing but it's one of the function interface. Control shift T, P, supplier. So supplier is also function interface. In this function interface having a one method called get. It will not take any parameter but it will return some data. Okay, so let me provide the implementations for that also. So what is the function name? Supplier SUPP. Okay, let me stop it. SUPPLI supplier, and it will return some data. So while returning some data, I will take a string, and here I will write supplier, okay, reference of the interface, and then after this will not take any arguments. So I have to provide with the help of the lambda expression open close. Okay, this is the lambda expression implementations. And inside this method I have to return something. So what I have to return is, so return java is sum. Java is sum. Okay, and please guys don't forget to remember the whatever the rules I have written for the lambda expression. If you remember those rules, then only you are able to provide the implementations of any functions. Okay, let me write s out and let me call this method with the help of supplier dot get. Okay, and whatever the value it will return, we can store inside this. Okay, let me run this so you can see the output here. Java is sum. So we have implemented the supplier also. Okay, and how it is working basically, so we have called this method supplier, and we have already provided the implementation of this method with the help of the lambda expressions. Okay, one more things, if you want to return only one line of the codes, then we don't have to provide this one also we don't want to provide the return type. Okay, you can directly write like that if it is one line of return. Okay, so this is how much easy it will become. Okay, within one line we have implemented supplier. Okay guys, so those things you have to keep in your minds. Like I have implemented here, you can see predicate function. I have implemented here consumer. I have implemented here function. You can see here I have implemented the supplier also, and I have called it. Okay, so this is the some popular interface class which is available in Java 1.8 features, and we have seen how we can provide the implementation with the help of Lambda expressions, guys. Okay, I hope you understood. Let me close all those classes. Okay, now I want to provide the implementations of the runnable interface. Okay, so let me open Control Shift T, runnable interface. If you see, runnable is a one of the function interface. Inside this having a one abstract method which is run. For that also we can write a implementations with the help of the Lambda expressions. How we can write it? So simply you can create one class, okay, and write runnable test, and inside this runnable test we have to create one main methods, and directly we have to provide the implementation. So what we can do is we can write here runnable run equal to it will not take any parameters, and it will return any not return any value. So I will just give the empty parentheses, and I will give the one Lambda expressions and open curly braces, close curly braces, and let me give the color. So this is the implementations of the Lambda expressions of runnable interface, runnable function interface. And here I can write any for loop, okay, and I will print some data based on that. So let me go up to 10, okay, and here we can write s out, and we can print I value. Let me format it so that you can understood. So this is the basically we have provided the implementations of the runnable interface. If you want to call it, okay, so you have to create one thread, okay, thread t equal to new thread, okay, and while creating a thread you can in the thread constructors you can pass your runnables, which is nothing but run, okay, and then after to the t you can start. So start internally it will call the run method, and you already given the reference of this implementations, so it will call those method and it will print all those value. You can see here, okay, 1 to 9. So this is the runnable interface implementations. If you go with the before 1.8 without Lambda expressions, then you have to write a lots of the code. You have to create a class, you have to implement the runnables, then you have to write a code. But Java 1.8 is providing the flexibility to write very concise code. Very easily you can provide the implementation of the function interface. Not every interface, but function interface you can provide very easily. Okay, that is the power. Okay, let me take one more example, okay, and we can close this function interface. Okay, so let me create one more class. Okay, so I'm going to create one class called, for example, shape, and shape is nothing but it's a function interface I will define. Okay, so shape is nothing but it's a function interface, so I will give the name called interface. Okay guys, and no, I will give this is called class only, okay, and shape test I will give the name, okay, and I will rename it, and inside this only I will create one main method. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create our own functional interface. The name of my interface is shape. Okay, shape. Like if you can see so many places they are giving the like this type of the things. Okay, so let me give the name called a shape, and let me write a method called void draw. Okay, and in draw methods I will pass something called just draw, or we can pass something called string, okay, data, and this is the function interface you can see. Okay, if I mark here at the function interface, then also it will not give any problem. So it will this is the metadata annotation, so it will check like what are the conditions for the function interface. It is flowing or not. If it is not follow, then it will give the exception. So because of that, we are marking as a function interface of the particular shape, so it will become a function interface. Let me create a let me provide some class implementations of the interface. So shape, you can say like a circle or rectangle. So let me create a rectangle. And this is the class, and this will implement the shape interface. Okay, shape interface, and we have to provide the implementations for that. Unimplemented methods, so it should have to provide the implementations. Okay, so s out. Okay, and here you can write draw rectangle. Okay, this is the method implementations we have provided for the shape function interface. And now I will try to call this method, which is draw, inside the shape test classes. So what I can do is I have to create an object of the rectangle. Okay, and then after rectangle, it's taking some time. Okay, but let me put this one only. Okay, rectangle object will be created, and through r dot draw method I will call, and hello rectangle, I will pass from here, and data I will concatenate. Okay, so this is the implementations we have provided of our own interface. Okay, but it's lots of the line of the code I have written to provide the implementations of my shape class. Okay, you can see the output, that is correct only, but we have written extra line of the classes. I don't want it. Okay, so let me remove. I don't want to provide the implementations like that. I have to do this with the help of Java 8 features. So what can I do? I can create one shape reference. Shape s equal to, what is the method? Draw method having a one parameters. So give the parameters, maybe data. Okay, anything. And after that you have to provide the lambda expression, curly braces open close, right? And here you have to give the semicolon, don't forget it. Okay, and now here you can just print whatever they are asking. So here you can print data plus draw rectangle, simple. Okay, and within 2 or 3 lines we can make it 1 lines also, this code. Okay, within 1 line we have provided the implementations of the lambda expressions, which is my shape interface. And now I can call it also. How can I call? S dot draw methods, and I will pass hello rectangle. Okay, and like that I can do it. Okay, let me run this code so that you can understood how it is working. So hello rectangle, draw rectangles, you can see the output. So this is the only implementations with the help of the lambda expressions. So what basically we have done, we have concised the code, we have reduced the number of the line of the code. We have, like, developer don't want to put lots of the effort, just we have to remember the rules and regulations, how to implement the function interface with the help of the lambda expressions. That's it. I hope guys you understood. I have given lots of the example. You have to do the practice so that you can understood in the better way. Okay, thank you.